Hey guys, we're here. We're not in the right order. Why, you might ask? Because I'm going to ask everyone here to leave this call and jump on a Discord call with each other on my Discord channel. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Audience at home. Hey, I know I might look a bit weird right now. Damn, you got me. Some of the cast members are in chat, so I'm going to ask you, live audience, don't say anything until it's totally done. Okay? I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust that you are well behaved. If you are not well behaved, you will not get the finale that you want. Oh, that's the sign of those knuckles, you know? Oh, let's see here. Just waiting on somebody to pay attention. Discord messages. Not, I may have to drop in the Discord channel. Quick. There we go. And the folks who are watching this
There we go.
at home recorded must be like, what the hell are they doing? You can't start a finale, throw all the cast out, and then spend 2 minutes doing nothing. Godric.
Yes.
You wake up. You take a deep breath of clean mountain air. For a long time, you've had questions in your heart about who you are, what you did to deserve all of this fate.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you can do exactly? Who are these people that you can summon? But now you know. You are a rare intersection of an incredibly unusual magic, soulmancy. It's necromancy, but rather than curse a soul or call upon undead energies, you call upon the impressions and memories things leave in the world. And while soulmancy is excessively rare, it's not particularly regarded as being one of the strongest magics. It does exist outside of chaos magic, outside of arcane, outside of divine. It's just something rare and unusual and unique and wonderful and also tragic. However, you are also a dwarf, and your solid ancestry, the chain link that binds you to each dwarf back to the first dwarf and to the dwarven gods through them, has allowed you the unusual capacity to draw upon not the souls of any old object, but of your own ancestors into being, to become an echo knight, to bring forth versions of realities past. You know who you are now. Maybe you don't have everything sorted out, but whatever this power is, whatever it's done to you, you have some measure of control over it. You have some measure of knowledge over it. Mm-hmm. And you feel at peace in a way that you haven't in a long time. And as you sit up, you realize it's been 6 months since you beat that dragon. You're back at home, back in the deep bottom mountain. You're in your own cavern, not in your parents'. Didn't move back in with them. There is a second bed, as appropriate for your fiance, next to yours. It's been tidily made up, but there's a note that's been left on it. And a newly carved portal way into a new room which includes some unusual furniture made by Tanira for you, including a cradle for a child.
You know, my I think back to my ancestor telling me to like the best way to honor them would be to be happy and to have children, and that like I think that realizing that the mindset of like to be a dwarf is to suffer is like garbage. Uh, I think that kind of shook Godric out of kind of like this like funk that he's been in since his exile, and I think it was just such a shock that he's at a point of like screw the traditions. I'm gonna go after what I want, and I'm gonna live the way I want, because I think that would be the best way to honor my ancestors. And so he's not thinking about what he can do to honor his ancestors, but I think his mindset has now become, what can I do to make the place better for future generations?
Okay. There's that note waiting for you on Krista's bed.
He would get up and read it.
It's a very private, personable letter with your fiance that ends with, today I am going to go to your grandmother and ask for your hand in marriage, like we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Your father was asking after you. I think you should go see him this time.
Okay. I think after, if this is like I'm just waking up, Godric would make himself like a quick kind of modest breakfast, and then after that he would.
This kitchen is not large, but any tool that you've ever dreamed of is in here. A lot of them are stamped with the Drongo round cask logo, PR, the halfling tradesman who you met with. There's even a new invention, a refrigerator. It's a ice chest that has dwarven runes carved in a metal band around the top of it, and the cold sinks down and freezes everything inside, allowing ingredients to be kept indefinitely. It's still a work in progress. Krista's father's working on it. He's encountering something called freezer burn, which is an unanticipated side effect, but he's going to try to fine-tune the temperature. Nice. You make a amazing, it seems almost too good to be real, your breakfast. Like, it's as if it's more vivid, delicious, and amazing smelling than any breakfast you've ever made.
Right. It's like I think very quickly he throws together like some stuffed French toast, and then just makes his way.
Sounds good. Sounds real good. Gone are some of the old icons of dwarven kind. A number of statues, not of great ancestors, but of dwarves you know. Dwarves who push the boundaries of what's possible. Explorers. People like Krista who forge new materials. Statues of them are being worked all up and down the main promenade of the cavern here. And you can see in front of the Elder Chamber, they're starting on one of you.
Interesting. I think as he's passing by like the statues of the ancestors, he like nods his head as like kind of a reverent salute to each of the ancestors. And when he sees the statue of himself, I think there's a momentary pause of like, do I deserve this?
When you say that, two younger dwarves, they're only in their 50s. It's a rambunctious, rebellious age. Walk around the corner. They look like they were just delivering paperwork to the Elder Council see you and give you kind of unusually respectful bow, where they bow at the waist, keeping their legs straight and letting their heads sink down. And they say the dwarvish word for dragon killer before raising their heads and continuing on their way.
Yes, the time I slayed the dragon. Carry on. I think he bows back to them and then continues on to meet his dad.
Your father is in the Elder Council chamber. He is putting on his robes as the fifth, the youngest of the elders. He's getting a wig on as well. He's struggling with the robes. When he hears you come in, he looks over his shoulder. He's reflected on either side by mirrors inset onto his bookshelves. And he says, there you are, boy. Help me with the zipper at the back.
Oh, of course, I help him out.
He turns, and when he finishes, he bows his head as well and says, let's sit.
I'm assuming there's like a couch or a table somewhere.
Yeah, there is his like work table, but he also has like a sitting area where one might take tea and have conversation. You've never been in this office before, because of course your father is very new to this role, but it feels comfortable, the furniture. And he sits down across from you and pours you a hot cup of tea and says, I was wrong and you were right.
Who are you and what have you done to my father?
Yes, very funny, Godric. You have gone and done what no dwarf has done in some time. And more than that, you've brought us hope. Not just in the form of reclaiming our past, but in reclaiming the form of our future. You have spoken at length, often what one might consider heretically, about dwarves allying with dragons. You are friends with this Sparkay?
Yes, the heroic Sparkay.
My common is not strong.
I don't correct him. Sparkay is as far as I'm concerned, I'm amused that Sparkay might become the phonetically correct pronunciation amongst my people.
Also, definitely not his real name, just to be very clear.
Yeah.
Your travels, things you have written about, wanting to reach out to the dragons, I'm impressed. I think that you could be not just the Deep Bottoms. I've written to the High Kings, and they agree that you should be our new ambassador to the dragons. We will use diplomacy. We want to work with the dragons if they're willing to work with us.
From what I understand that Sparkay has informed us is that dragons don't see things as good or evil the way we do. So I think, yes, we should work with the dragons, but I think we need to be cautious and maybe a little picky about what dragons we work with.
That's very wise. Well, if we're going to formalize it, I suppose my first act in office is to offer you this contract. And he reaches into the desk drawer beside him and he pulls out a contract and a pen and some green ink, and he puts it on the table before you and says, just sign at the bottom. You will be ambassador plenipotentiary to the dragons and serve them as you serve us.
I think Godric would take time to just like really thoroughly read over the contract. Just make sure that everything looks correct on the up and up. Not that he doesn't trust his father, but doesn't, his dad also raised him, don't sign things without reading them first.
Make a perception check.
Ooh. $14. 15.
You're reaching for the pen, dipping it in the green ink. Look at your father. You're asking yourself a question. My father doesn't have green eyes. Begin reading this contract. It is a contract as an ambassador. It is a contract as an ambassador for dragons to the dwarves, and it is a oath of servitude and subservience.
I think he puts the pen down and then after just kind of like reading over it, puts the paper down and just looks at his father and says, give me time to think about this before I sign it.
You would insult the High Kings. This is a formality. I didn't realize. What's wrong?
There's a lot on my plate with the child on the way, and I'm sure you know what it's like expecting a child. And I would hate to rush into a decision without first discussing it with Christella.
I understand, Godric, but I have put my career on the line to make this opportunity available to you so that you can continue your rise to the top of the mountain. I can't go back to the High Princes with this unsigned.
Okay, well, give me.
I'm asking you to do this for me, Godric.
And what did you do for me when I was exiled?
This isn't going to work, is it?
I don't think so.
All right. You can return back to the Discord channel and pick someone else to come here. Speak nothing of what's happened here.
You got it.
Okay. I don't know who's going to pick, so we're getting roulette. We're pretty well behaved right now, chat, so I'm giving you props. I don't often respect my audience. I'm being sarcastic when I say that, audience. I need you to understand that, because sometimes when I say this shit, people think I'm being serious. So here we go. It's the man.
Your next victim has arrived.
Grim Dark James. Victim, sir. Assault me.
Oh God, I mean, Neo Buzzer was in tears when he rejoined the call.
No, he wasn't. It has been 6 months since you have slain the dragon. You and Sparky were offered a position of honor in the Imperial Sky Knights, which you refused, to continue to travel the world with Sparky and investigate the dragon blight of Unash. You find yourself outside a long forgotten temple whose name is lost to the primordial tongues. And it is here that Sparky indicates that some working of magic in agreement between dragons and gods, specifically what he calls the Earth Mother and what you recognize as the one who you adhere to. A union of those two powers, such as one that exists inside you, can be found inside this place. Sparky is allowing you to ride him as the two of you enter into forgotten underground temple ways. There are pictures of men, elves, orcs, all the races of the world riding dragons, dragons cavorting through the air, dances with dragons, dragons taking on form of these creatures and having union, friendships, marriages, lifelong companionships with their Drake Wardens. You continue to go for some time, and the adaptation that Sparky has granted you of night vision allows you to see all of these things along the dark cavern walls. And you continue to approach. The temple opens up. This is a long underground passageway. You have no idea where you are now. There is no physical way you should be both above ground and in the chill at the top of a mountain. As you go out and up to a roaring beacon fire set into a a beacon fire with like 4 prongs of stone coming off of it, going up above it, and this vast expanse showing a huge portion of the world. Perhaps you are atop the tallest mountain. Even though it is cold and chilled, you somehow still breathe in this beautiful air. And as you watch, tree sprouts at each of the 4 corners of the temple, and a figure, humanoid in shape, made of leaf vines, green leaves, and pine needles, appears above the beacon fire and says, "My child, you have come to me at last. Here, at the highest places of the earth, you can understand my voice so close to the heavens."
So it's quick. It's a beacon fire lit.
It is.
Okay. We've both come here looking for you.
I've been calling you for so long. The dreams, the visions, and now here you are.
I'll hop off Sparky. Now we're not actually needing to ride around.
Okay. Sparky just sits quietly.
We've tried to do your work in the world, and try to make everything better for everyone, and also help my friend Sparky find his place as well. Is there more that we can do to serve?
There is. I have called you here because I have seen a need for a champion. Someone to serve dragons as you would serve me.
And do you want me to be or find that champion?
You are that champion. If you would but kneel, I will bestow upon you the great power and oaths. There is much you can gain in service to dragons.
I'll look back at Sparky to see if there's any reaction to this at all, or if he's just still stoic.
Make an insight check.
All right. We've already determined that the dragons are actually cats. I think
Something is off about Sparky's behavior. Sparky is acting draconically, but he's not acting sparkly-ish. He's bigger now, and he moves similar despite his larger size. But when he looks at you, there's very little recognition and no connection between you. And it's starting to creep into your mind that you can't hear his thoughts or the bond between you anymore.
I'll like step back towards him. Are you okay?
The figure above you will say, "Please, this is a sacred ritual. Do not interrupt. Just kneel. Kneel and serve the dragons." Sparky looks at you somewhat blankly and blinks very slowly.
I know. I think that Kitty sort of looks around like she feels uncomfortable that there's something not right here. And so she's sort of like looking at that, sort of confused, trying to figure it out, looking for any sort of inspiration other than what she's been directed to do, to sort of give her an idea about is this the right path.
The figure above you says, "I said, and sir, pay attention."
This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like how the relationship that we've had, either Sparky and I, or me and the divine. This isn't right.
The figure goes, "This one's not going to work either, huh?" You can go back to Discord and pick someone to join.
No worries.
Hey, we're back again, chat. How's it going? Wow, crazy how this is going, right? What could be happening? Don't speculate in chat, but what could be happening? What is happening? Or I could say, what's happening? I mean, Henley, you did join during the season finale. This is the first episode you watched. Hey, how's it going?
Hi. I feel like I should be getting up to shenanigans in the Discord while waiting. But I've been good. I've behaved.
You know who else has been good? Guineria. Because it's been 6 months since you slayed that dragon. Your songs recounting the slaying of the dragon went viral all across the Empire. There was a parade in your specific honor. The elves have recognized you. All of the hidden valleys have recognized you as the new, without question, blessed of the Canaan star. You've also, been asked to write papers about the heroism of all of your friends. And you even managed to squeak out some time to help the professor back at the Disorder on his studies into life and death. However, you have received an invitation on this day to the Sealy Court of the Fae, where the Queen of the Fairies has asked your presence to give you a personal quest, a Gias.
Oh. But it's the Sealy Court and not the unsealy Court.
Correct, it is the Sealy Court.
Good.
At your side is the satyr you first met, escorting you. He's basically like telling you, there's this guy, this guy owes me money. It's one of those things. How you been?
Oh, good. What about that lady over there?
Oh, listen, I've had relationships with so many ladies. You really spread the word about me, and it's getting around. It's getting around the mortal plane, if you know what I mean. Sometimes
we had a pact.
Yeah, on the moonless nights, I go to 2 or 3 houses.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. Anyway, I can't go any further than this. This is the Queen's receiving chamber. Anyway, Guineria, fantastic work. You are a credit to all Fae.
Why, thank you. I shall continue to sing your praises.
Finger guns. Finger crossbows. 2 very unamused looking. They look like elves, but they're almost 1.5 feet taller than any elf has the right to be. Thinner. They wear armor made out of wrapped fern leaves around them, and they hold a spear that looks like it might have been carved by an enormous tusk. Slam their spears down onto the ground as they open the door to the Queen's receiving chambers.
I nod knowingly to both of them and I stride forward.
The Queen of the Fairies is like 4'11", although it would be difficult to put a real number on that because while her head stops at 4'11", the transparent gossamer butterfly wings that she has stretch up another foot or so, and their height changes as they slowly flap behind her. She is wearing a green evening gown with like immaculate pearl jewelry and incredible, like, I don't even want to call it face paint. It's almost like she was born with just like a coal line, super red lipstick, like just on point 100%. And she gestures for you to join her at a seat. She is in the middle of a pond upon a floating leaf, and there is no clear way for you to get across the water to her.
I walk up to the edge of the
Lily
water.
pads begin.
Oh. I curtsy towards her and then I start walking daintily on each pad.
As you approach, she stands and curtsies towards you and says, "You are most honored here, Guineria, blessed of the Canaan star."
Oh, no, the honor is all mine, my queen, to be in your presence.
It is clear that the plane of fairy has gifted you quite a destiny. I am here to facilitate the future of that. Please, sit with me. And as she gestures, several armadillos roll up, and two of them form like a base, and then one of them forms a backing for you to just sit down at an armadillo chair.
I'm very careful when I sit. I don't want to hurt them, but...
The one on the bottom goes,
"Oh, no, you're good, lady. Don't worry about it. You don't weigh anything compared to the people we normally..." I'm just telling you, like, most people that come in here, they're like 700-800 pounds. You're good. You're good. Don't worry about this. Sit down.
Okay.
The queen of the Sealy court goes, ahem, and he stops talking.
I let out a little giggle and was like, they are absolutely charming. This is such a wondrous moment.
Yes, I invited them to this court because of their unique skills at making guests comfortable. I wanted to put on the best impression for the representative of the Fae court. I would like you to undertake a mission for me. On behalf of the Sealy court, I would like you to reach out for an alliance with the dragons. I have heard what you have had to say about this Sparky and his entreaties about good and evil, and I would know more. Good and evil of the gods have no place here in the lands of Fairy. We do not ascribe to the mortal gods and their good and evil. I believe that though we have never attempted it before, an alliance may be made between our peoples, an understanding reaching across planes to strengthen the bond.
It seems a wise decision, and I would be honored and humbled to partake in this quest that you would assign to me. It is most wondrous, dazzling. It is the greatest of honors, a mantle upon the shoulders. But I ramble.
No, there is no rambling. It is your hour of greatest honor here that you would do this for me.
Emissary to the dragons, on behalf of your court, I do accept.
Very well. You will need to be a willing participant in a ritual, an enchantment. Take my hand.
I
She
do that.
intertwines your hands with her and says, "You so swear to serve your fairy heritage and to serve the dragons in accordance of creating an alliance between the two."
I so swear.
Something happens to you. Make a wisdom saving throw. I will remind you, you have inspiration if you would like to use it on them. And just to be clear, something bad is happening to you in this moment.
Well, okay. I'm definitely gonna roll with advantage on it then.
Very well. Do you have any resistance to like
Oh.
charmed or anything?
Yeah, I have resistances.
Okay. It tries to lay a geas on you, and your mind rejects the idea of the exact wording to serve the dragons. You start panicking as you realize that something is wrong. Why would you ever willingly agree to serve dragons?
Oh.
You reject the spell, and the fairy queen's face twists in anger. Her wings turn wide and leathery and bat-like, and she says, "Not this one either, then." And you can go ask the last person to join us real quick. Yeah, I mean, you have to go back to the Discord, but you know, send them to me.
Okay.
Bring me Tanira.
Tanira! I shall.
Well. Almost got the players with that one. Almost got the players with that one. I was on the precipice. Hey!
Well, hello there.
Hey, Tanira, how's it going?
It goes. I'm ready to get all the magical items now.
It's been 6 months since you slayed that dragon.
What? That's crazy.
I know. What's even crazier is how crazy your life has been since then. The Imperial Sky Knights absolved you of all wrongdoing and offered you a peerage in the knighthood, which you rejected, of course.
Of course.
You took all of the magical items that your party would part with you and your 1/5 of the treasure of the dragon, and you were able to buy an orphanage. Your original plan was to just set an orphanage up and like drop in every once in a while between your adventures, but that didn't last for very long. After about 2 weeks, you came back and you made some promises to the kids there that you'd see them, you know, in 2 days, and then you said you'd play with them tomorrow. It's been 3 months. You haven't left. You've been there every single day.
Sounds about right.
And you have not seen hide or hair of your devilish partner in all of that time.
I can imagine he's right around the corner.
As you say that, a precocious child of 4 years old tugs at the bottom of your pants and says, "Mother, what did you say?"
I'm sorry. Can I help you?
You said something. Someone's right around the corner?
Oh, yes. Just thinking of old times.
Can we go read the storybook now?
Of course. And I pick them up and kind of toss them over my shoulder and let's go.
The two of you travel out into a warm hearth in this cold country where 24 children have bunk beds, partnered rooms. Every room has a heated floor, and no one is ever without food. No one is ever without something to sleep with. No one is ever without you. And as you enter the room, one of the other hired employees here just kind of throws his hands up as all the kids run away from him and run to you, and he just goes, I'm no competition. Jeez. The matron really is something else. As the kids are all like grasping at your pants, and the taller ones are like trying to grab your hands, and just they're all just saying story time.
All right. Which story are we reading tonight?
The first child, the one who you're carrying, says, I want to hear the one about dragons and good and evil. And everyone starts nodding, and they're just like, yeah, that one.
Dragons, you say? All right. Let's.
One of the older kids brings you the book over.
Thank you. All right, let's sit down. Everybody, shush.
You sit in a rocking chair on a comfortable fuzzy rug, and the children sit in a circle around you in 4 rings, all 24 of them.
Now let's see here. Should I start the story over, or do you want me to start where we left off last time?
Oh, everybody says something different. Someone's like, I want the chapter with the princess, and somebody else is just like, at the beginning, and someone else is like, last night, why would we ever go anywhere with that? But one of the older kids says, let's skip to the part about how we can be friends with dragons.
Yes, friends with dragons. That's a great place to start.
Make an Arcana check.
You sure this isn't for Godric?
I am absolutely sure.
Oh, come on.
You start reading the story and narrating it out loud, and the fire grows dimmer. The children are all saying things to you like, I want to be friends with dragons too. And someone else is just like, aren't you friends with dragons, mother? Someone says, yes, the Sparky.
Yes, I was friends with a dragon once.
Can't we all be friends with dragons? And then the little one who you picked up initially crawls into your lap, and it looks up at you, and he says, I want to be friends with dragons too. Can we all be friends with all the dragons?
Not all of them. Much like people, there are some kind ones and there are some not kind ones. You just have to be careful. But the kind ones are very kind.
But shouldn't we be kind to everyone?
Yes, we should. But you should also be wary. You never know what's around the corner.
The kid looks up at you with sparkling green eyes and goes, yeah, this isn't going to work. You're way too on guard. Okay. You can go back to the Discord and bring everyone back now.
Okay.
All right, guys, you can talk about what happened in live chat now. We have arrived at that point. It's going to take me a minute to reassemble folks, so, remain calm, carry on. Oh, hey, James, how's it going? How's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
This group will never roll a decent Arcana check if it meant their lives.
No, hey, the roll you made before was great. The one where it wasn't actually in play.
It was, yeah. I rolled a 14. In game, though, never gonna happen.
Okay, let's get everyone where they need to be. You guys can, briefly talk out of character while I do this if you want to.
Okay.
We've been talking out of character for like the last 3/4 of an hour.
But I mean, about what you just experienced.
Okay. No, all right.
Oh, I told him about my Arcana check already.
Yes, I know. We all saw it.
I think someone was trying to trick us.
So close to rolling that 20, you guys.
Yeah, right?
So close.
Queen of
was
the
almost
city
there.
court wanted to grant me a quest, but didn't feel right. And as an elf, I have advantage against such. Shall we say mental manipulation? Such
I
false
was too on
charms.
guard, so I didn't get any magic items.
All of you snap awake. You are on the path to the dragon's lair, and all of you have fallen into some form of enchantment and illusion. You look over, and Sir Rian McPhee immediately cuts Fratter's head off.
Sheesh!
Can we act to try and stop this from happening?
No.
His
No,
head is
no.
off.
I mean, like any further violence, you know, like run over to try and stop him, restrain him, etc.
Sure. I mean, you run towards him. He says, "Stop! Let me see your eyes."
Let him look. Yeah.
Okay. He looks in your eyes. He looks in all of your eyes. Says, "Good. Okay, we're safe again."
You cut his head off.
Fratter surrendered to the green dragon's insidious influence. He must have accepted whatever fell bargain it offered him.
Oh.
What about Fleur?
Fleur is just like, yeah, he tried to offer me. Sorry, my father tried to, get me to come back home. Something about dragons. I've got good instincts about these kinds of things. I knew something was wrong immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he fooled me, but I'm always on guard.
He showed me all the things that I wished. Showed me things I wish were true, but it was just too good to be true.
Well, if it wasn't for elven stubbornness, I probably would have fallen for this.
But now we've beaten this. Is it still a threat, or have we overcome it now?
You hear a voice at your side that says, "You have overcome your trials. It is the way of green dragons to influence the powerful, the heroic, those with great wealth or great magic, into service for them. You have avoided it. You have eternally protected yourself from this one."
Well, I don't have any wealth, so it's
Well,
not going to get me there.
Just remember, Sparky's speaking in Draconic, so you can't understand anything Sparky is saying.
Out of character.
Does the dragon know that we've overcome its power?
I can't say. It knows that I approach, which is why it has sent this enchantment.
I'll turn back to Brian McPhee. Is there a chance that we could pretend to be in its thrall? Get closer to it?
He tries flicking the blood off of his sword and then has Fleur help him put it back in the sheath, and he says, "When I looked into the eyes of Fratter, they glowed an unnatural green, a sign of draconic corruption, and I knew then that he was not to be trusted. I think that unless you were capable of shape-shifting, even then I don't know if such magic is enough to fool the dragon. Perhaps the connection is mental or some sort of soul bond. You are bound to a dragon. You know more than I. Could you fool someone else?"
No, I think that was part of the problem with this dragon's illusion, was that the bond that I felt I didn't feel in it.
Do we know how close we
Alright.
are to it based off, the ability or the skill? Is
No.
there like a range? Okay.
But you do know that you're quite close to the lair. You're probably less than 20 minutes away.
We must be close though.
Yeah.
So, do we stick with the original plan, even though your number is now reduced by 1? Are you still
We're
able to?
safer than we've ever been now. I regret the loss of Fratter, but if there are none among our number who would betray us, we are better off.
True.
All
This
right.
must have cost the dragon something. You cannot use such an incredible act of magic without a price.
Also true. I'm gonna make a stealth check. Just, general
I'd actually
stealth.
like the whole group to make a stealth check. You need at least half of you succeeding.
Mm-hmm. Double natural 20s. Here we go.
Let's go. Hey, you see that? That's a 19.
Oh, come on.
I got a 5.
I got a 10.
We got a 17 and a 20.
Yes.
As you approach Tanira and Kithtrix, the two of you attempt to cover everyone around you, and you think you've done a good enough job. While Godric may occasionally stumble over a branch and snap it in half, the group simply stops, waits for a moment for all of the birds to stop fluttering, pretend as if it was some animal of the forest, and then continue
She's
moving.
chainmail jingling.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm
Yeah.
jingling as I walk.
It's Christmas over here. He's jingling.
Right?
As you approach, you recognize that there are two entrances to the lair. It is some sort of underground chamber that you can take a tunnel down to. And Sir Rian McPhee says, I think we should split up. Do our best to stay in communication. Does anyone have any messaging magic or something like that?
I can write a letter.
Oh, I can create lights and effects.
I'm not certain that sending lights ahead of us is a good plan.
Probably not.
We're going to attempt to approach stealthily. We should do it with as little light as possible.
Does it look like there's only one entrance to the cave?
No, there are two entrances. So Rian is saying you should split up and then find
take
some
both
way to
entrances.
coordinate an attack.
Got it.
I can throw my voice 30 feet, so that's it.
Let us move carefully then. And if you get in
Indeed.
trouble, shout immediately. At that point, stealth will be over.
Right. Is there a natural sound I could mimic as a signal, like a bird sound or something? That,
Yes, you're a ranger. You can make all kinds of bird sounds.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Right.
You don't even have to roll for that.
Okay. So, I mean, can we agree upon some sound is like the signal to attack?
Yeah.
The sound of a dying goat.
You sure you want to go with that? That specific one?
It might not
It's
go
from a-
over so well.
It's from a TV show. Sorry. But yeah, okay. We'll agree on a particular bird sound, but not just like if there birds in the area. I mean, it's got to be like 3 consistent sounds for it to signal the attack.
Okay. Rian readily agrees, and he offers each of you a forearm clasp and says, good hunting. May fortune favor us all.
All right. Make sure everyone's got good berries as well.
Baby
Fleur
bolt.
moves ahead of him. She's got a torch in one hand that is not lit and a shield in the other, with her spear like tucked under her elbow so she can get to it once she throws the torch. And the two of them begin moving down the smaller of the two tunnels.
All right.
We shall move down the other.
I think,
Stealthily.
I think as we go down the tunnel, I'll try to take the lead, or be at least at the front of our marching order.
I'm going to hang back a bit because I'm going to go range anyway, and I'm not going to use my produce flame. I'm going to try and get Sparky to leave me with his dark vision.
I'm going to be at the back. Since I do have dark vision, I don't need any of that light.
I was going to say if James needed help, I could create a echo and have the echo lead him down, or walk down with him.
Let's take a look. You guys can arrange yourselves how you want. So this chamber is recessed
It's
and
a bear.
surrounded by water. You can put yourselves at the entrance of the tunnel or behind it as you would.
Can you drop Sparky on the map as well, please?
Yes, I can.
Yo, there's a bath in
dang.
here. Take a bath real quick.
So
Right.
these walls are not actually walls, just to be clear. They are like side struts or like, you know, you could look between them. It's
These
not
walls?
arrow holes. Yeah, it's like colonnades or something.
Got it.
They definitely have seen some age and some ruin. This rug looks quite new, and both trees in here,
Mhm.
they have a look of unusual freshness and life. Neither of them are native to this forest or swamp.
The pillars, how high up do they go?
To the ceiling, which is 20 feet tall.
Is there a pillar there as well?
Yes, here,
That one.
here.
Pillar. I barely know her.
Can I look real quick to see if the pillars are like load bearing? If like they're keeping this cave up?
A quick glance says that they are not structurally significant.
Okay.
Did I lose somebody? Oh, Sparky and Kithtrix are at the back. Okay.
Yeah.
All the way in.
Am I from that? What do you mean to move forward, or?
Yeah. That's where you want to be. That's where you are.
I think
Almost at the
this
same
point-
time you all arrive, Fleur and Saria McPhee come through the door, and Fleur throws a torch into the middle of the room.
I want
almost
to go ahead
lands
and
on the
summon
rug.
my echo and have my echo next to me.
Sure.
When we go in, we need to spread out as much as possible.
Do you know who you want to summon this time, or you want to go like random gotcha summon?
Gotcha, son. Get that 5-star.
Yeah, we'll just do a random gotcha.
Sure. Roll
Yeah.
D100 if you can.
Dwarf waifu.
Gotta wait for the waifus at the.
58.
No, sorry, 58. That's a common.
That's a common.
You summon a dude who is missing his left arm, and he has a flamberge, which he is somewhat unwieldily using one-handedly. His armor is covered with grudge keeper oaths. So a high grudge keeper has assigned this person a quest. And just a quick look over their armor indicates that like this guy lost his arm to a dragon, and the dragon like ate his family, and then a second dragon like defiled his family's home, and like a third dragon is currently attacking his clan's like clan hold, and this dude is like definitely on a vengeful quest. He looks at you, he nods, and then he immediately adopts your fighting stance, which looks very unusual given the fact that he's one-handing a flamberge and you are two-handing a pick, but he is going to exactly copy everything you do. He has a look about him of like you from several days ago, like a dude without hope whose whole life has been ruined, and now he's just out for vengeance. There's a hollowness to him that you no longer have.
Yeah.
He's the Batman.
Oh no, Kevin Conroy. No, he as I look at him, I'm gonna be like, here's a chance to settle the score.
He turns, looks at you, gives you an up nod.
Are we ready to enter the room?
Tell me.
Are you ready to enter the room?
I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
I'm waiting
Yeah.
for y'all.
Slice that pie.
All right. I think we step in.
Two of them move carefully into the room. Okay. As you arrive there, you hear a voice echoing throughout the chamber around you. So you've come, heroes. It sounds feminine and disturbingly familiar to each of you.
The Sky Knight lady.
Not her.
Do I
The
know?
hag from the swamp.
Oh my
Not
god,
her
it's the
either.
hag, I swear.
Nope.
Can I discern through various dice which
Yeah,
the voices?
Make a intelligence check. Just roll your intelligence score. That's it.
There.
It's so familiar, just out of reach.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
The folks at
I
home,
mean,
that's an 8.
I was assuming it was the whatever we encountered in our vision. That's the same voice.
Not all of you encountered the same voice during that vision.
Boom.
I didn't see the vision, so I don't know.
I know, that was the best part about it.
Is it's just echoing through the whole chamber? There was no like specific area.
Would you like to make a perception check?
I would like to make a perception check.
Narrow it down. Okay.
Perception. Not bad.
You know, I'm a connoisseur of shooter games and also reading actual tactical manuals and house clearing information and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people, they know to look left and right, and if you're on a railing, to look down, but there's a direction most people don't look when they're clearing a room. And you turn to look up, and there is a dragon holding itself on the stalactites, and it drops down in front of McPhee. I assume that looked suitably disturbing as it arrived.
Yep.
Yeah. It's quite large. It's above us.
Oh, it's not above you anymore. It's definitely on the level. When it saw you, it dropped down.
Shit.
However, it is not initiating attacks yet. It is looking at all of you, occasionally flicking its tail towards Fleur, who is now like got her shield in place and is occasionally being battered. And it says in Draconic, which again only Kithtrix and Sparky can understand. I greet you, ancient ancestor. I did not think that my den would host the Orphan of Eternity. And Sparky replies again in Draconic. You say you honor me, but you mock me with that title. She gives a laugh. What should I say to the lastborn, or should I say lostborn, the leftovers? You have come to stop Unash and those that are around us, and yet you are a fool, for you will soon belong to me. And Sparky says, my champions are stronger than you know. My warden will defeat you. You and your soul will serve me as penance for your crimes. At this point, the dragon lets out an enormous roar, and I need everyone to roll a will save. This is also a fear effect. Do you have any...
Wisdom save?
Is that...
It's wisdom.
Oh, wisdom? Okay.
The crow.
Do you have any bonuses versus fear? Now's the time to be throwing them down.
I don't.
Do that right? Yes.
You have advantage on fear, Kithtrix? Oh, you're a halfling.
Yeah.
Kithtrix with an 11 will fail. Godric with a 14. Tanir with a 14 will succeed. And Gwyneria with a 12 will fail. So the two of you are unable to act in the first round.
Okay.
Roll initiative.
Indeed. Initiative. There's no active combat encounter.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Should we
it's
have
very active.
Do we need the commercial break at this point as well?
We actually do need the commercial break. I went a little over because I was being
I
dramatic.
actually rolled well on an initiative.
How did I roll twice? Oh, it's because I have both my minis. I have both tokens selected.
Yes.
Whoopsies.
I mean, that works, right?
How do I
Guess you have to
unselect both? I only no.
Well, which one is real you? So you
that
got
one
the
was real me.
12. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. That works.
Who's the real you?
Come on. Nope. Incredible. All right. The dragon rolled a fucking 3. The dragon is going last in the upcoming combat round. We'll return for the second of 3 parts in a few minutes. I went a little past our time, so Twitch ads are probably rolling, but we're going to reset them here real quick. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a bother. We'll see you then. About 5.